Good afternoon, Villa 2. This is Mrs. Hughes, and we are going to be doing lesson 5-2 today. And our focus for our lesson is going to be multiplying mixed numbers. We do not have any vocabulary today, so we're going to be jumping right into our example. We're going to jump into only one example. And I just want to remind you that as you are watching this, if you need to pause it to get some of the notes written down, please do so. So we're going to start off today, and we're going to start off with a word problem like we did yesterday when we were multiplying fractions. Today we're looking at mixed fractions and how do you multiply them. So here's my word problem. For his birthday, Buddy wants to skateboard 9 3/5 times the length of his 2.5-inch long model skateboard. How long is the skateboard he wants? Well, I can see that the question we're being asked is how long is the skateboard that he wants. So that's what we're going to have to figure out. So step 1, much like yesterday, is going to be to determine the operation to use. And in order to determine the operation to use, I have to find the important information in my word problem. And I see that he's looking for a skateboard that is 9 3/5 times the length of his 2.5-inch skateboard. So I have some pretty important information here. I have the lengths that I'm looking at, how many times he wants it to be of this length. So this word right here, times, is helping me to determine what operation I need to use. I need to times it. I need to multiply. So I'm going to take my 9 3/5, and I'm going to multiply that by his model skateboard, which was 2.5 inches long. So now I'm trying to figure out, well, how long is the real skateboard that he wants? I have to multiply that in order to do that. Once you've determined your operation that we're multiplying, you're going to go to step 2. And when we have mixed numbers, what we want to do for step 2 is estimate the product to the nearest whole. We want to look at these mixed numbers and we want to estimate them to the nearest whole so we can get an idea of what our answer should be close to. So I'm going to start off and I'm going to look at 9 3/5. If I look at our fraction 3/5, this is going to be closer to a whole than not. So I'm going to round this up to 10. And so I'm going to say 10 times, and then I'm looking at 2.5. 2.5 is going to be close to 3, so I'm just going to round that up to 3. So I have 10 times 3 will equal 30 inches. So Buddy is looking for a skateboard that's going to be about 30 inches. But this question wants us to know exactly how long the skateboard is. So this is just to help make sure that my answer makes sense. So I move on to step 3. I know I'm moving fast here, but again, please pause if you need to get these notes down. So step 3 says write the mixed number as an improper fraction. So what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to take these mixed numbers and I'm going to want to write them as improper fractions. So I'm going to take my 9 3/5 and I want to change this to an improper fraction. In order for me to do that, I need to take my denominator times my whole number. So 5 times 9, and then I have to add my numerator of 3 plus 3. I'm going to draw a line here, and I'm going to place the denominator of 5 there so I don't forget it. I'm just looking to now add up what is my numerator. So 9 times 5 is 45, plus 3 is 48, and then I just carry my 5 all the way across, fifths. 48 fifths is my improper fraction for 9 3/5. Next, I'm going to do the same thing for 2.5. 2.5 was my other improper fraction. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say 2.5. And I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to put my numerator up here and I'm just going to write up here what I'm doing so I know if I make a mistake where that mistake was. So I'm going to take my denominator 2 times my whole number 2. 2 times 2. Then I have to add my numerator of 1 plus 1. I want to keep my denominator the same, and then I'm going to figure out my improper fraction. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. I I now have 5, and then I carry my denominator of 2, so I have 5 halves as my second improper fraction. Now that I have my improper fractions, I'm ready to actually solve this problem, and I am going to set this up, and I'm going to look at if I can simplify these. So we're going to go on to step 4. Okay, so now that I'm ready to solve my problem, I'm going to go on to step 4. And step 4 is going to ask us to take these improper fractions and multiply them. But before I take the new improper fractions, I want to simplify them. So we're going to do that by divide the numerator, and I'm going to divide the improper fraction, numerator, and denominator by common factors. Okay, so let me set up my problem, and it's going to say 48/5 times 5 halves. I am going to look at this, and I'm going to see, can I simplify any of these numbers? And remember, when we're looking to simplify them, to divide them, we're looking diagonally. So if I look here, I see there's a 5 here, and there's a 5 here. So I know both of these can be divided by 5. I can divide both of these by 5. And since I know both of these divide by 5, 5 divided by 5 is going to give me 1. 5 divided by 5 is going to give me 1. I have a simplified version there. Now I look at the other direction, crossing, and I see 48. This is an even number, and I see 2. This is an even number. I know 2 can go into both of these, so I'm going to divide both of these by 2. And you can do this mentally. You don't have to write this out. I'm just showing you what I'm thinking. So 2 divided by 2 is going to give me 1. And 48 divided by 2 is going to give me 24. So now I have two new fractions. I have 24 over 1, and I have 1 over 1. Now I'm ready to solve my problem, which is going to take me on to step 5. So here we are at step 5, and since we found our simplified version of our fractions, we are just now going to take those new fractions and multiply them. So our fractions were 24 over 1 times 1 over 1. And now, since these are simplified, I can just multiply straight across, and it's going to be very easy. 24 times 1 is obviously 24, and 1 times 1 is 1. Remember, anytime you have 1 as your denominator, your numerator is actually the whole number. So our answer here would be 24. Now I've solved the problem, but the solution to this problem has to be in words because this was a word problem. So my solution would say the skateboard he wants is 24 inches. And that is my word answer to my word problem. And those are the steps on how to solve and multiply mixed numbers. What I would like you to do is make sure you have all these notes written down, and go ahead and click on the link above to take you to a Google quiz, and I have a few practice problems for you. Please go back and review the video if you have questions, or if you can't figure them out, come in tomorrow to class with your questions. I hope you have a great evening. I will see you all bright and early tomorrow.